everyone, Dr. Remy from Posture Size and Pain Free and Fit. Today we've got some great tips as a personal trainer for your clients to limit their potential for injury using training intensity with your programming. We're going to be talking about how to use the RPE, or rate of perceived exertion scale, to limit your clients' biomechanical faults and help you train them safely without injury. Hope you enjoy. So whether you're training your personal training client for endurance, strength, flexibility, isometric core work, it helps to use the RPE, or rate of perceived exertion scale, and match that to correcting your client's mechanical faults to help them prevent injury. RPE, if you're not familiar with it, is a simple subjective grading by the client to say to themselves, how difficult is this workout? How difficult am I in this endurance time or at this rep? 100% effort is considered a 10 on an RPE scale. It's maximum effort. A 0 would be considered no effort. 1 is the most minimal effort. So we grade on a number. And as with anything, when you first start to use it, the accuracy of the scale isn't as good as once the client has practiced it for a while. If you're using repetitions, for instance, a 9 would be leaving 1 rep left in the tank that you wouldn't complete. So in other words, if you could press normally 10 reps with a certain weight, stopping at 9 reps, that would be an RPE of 9. If you're leaving 2 reps left in the scale, you would rate it as an 8. If you're leaving 3 reps left in the tank you haven't completed, you could do them, but you're not completing the last 3 reps, that's a 7, and so on. I've included this RPE scale to not only normal single digits, but also half digits, or 0.5 grades also, in the following graph. So once you practice with your client grading their actual sets, RPE, you can also do that with endurance work. Full out intensity is a 10, and 90% effort would be a 9, 80% effort at any point would be an 8. If we're working with a client to improve their form and their stability to avoid an injury, let's take, for example, we have a client with a shoulder injury, and we know that regardless of whether it's a bursitis, a tendonitis, an impingement syndrome, they have a biomechanical fault of during raising their arm up in abduction, at a certain point, they shrug that shoulder up. And you can see that as they do a bilateral or a 2-arm lateral raise. One side will lift up at a certain point. That shoulder shrugging mechanical mistake is putting pressure on the rotator cuff, subacromial impingement on the bursa, all kinds of problems, and you're trying to work with that client to keep their shoulder blade down using the shoulder depressors, which are weak, and limiting or inhibiting the shoulder elevators that are tight. And when you start with this, it's very difficult to include mechanical corrections if your RPE is too high. If you're trying to have that client elevate that arm up with, let's say, an 80% load, where they're leaving 2 reps left in the tank or going to failure, let's say an RPE 10, it's going to be very difficult to keep that shoulder down. The further they get into the set, they may be able to hold mechanical corrections initially, but as they fatigue, they're going to want to go back to their old motor patterns of using that abnormal mechanical advantage of shrugging the shoulder up. So when you're programming your clients' workouts, before you even implement them, you're going to think about learning mechanics first at a very, very low RPE. Something that's considered a warm-up weight or warm-up resistance, warm-up speed if you're working on speed, warm-up endurance time if you're working on core planks or you're an endurance athlete. It's much easier to control body posture and to mentally focus on mechanical corrections and proper movement patterns if we're not taxed to that grade of intensity. As we improve with the client in their ability to hold the correct mechanical corrections, then we can increase that RPE. Typically speaking, most clients don't want to go above an RPE of 7 or 8 when still working and honing their mechanical corrections. If you have someone that's been practicing for months but they still have a little difficulty towards the end of the set, you want to make sure you're not pushing them to failure, because they could be going along fine through that whole set, but by the time they get to that last rep or 2 and they're trying to grind out that last bit of effort, they're going to go back to their normal old motor pattern, which is shoulder shrugging, causing shoulder injury. Once they're injured, you may lose that client forever. Be the type of trainer that knows how to use some type of auto-regulation technique, RPE or others that we'll discuss here on the channel, to limit your clients' training to a safe range so they're not putting themselves into a maximum effort or near maximum effort workout, so they can work on their mechanics, improving their form, and staying out of injury. If you like this video on RPE and injury programming, please feel free to subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of great training tips, how to stay away from injuries, conditioning problems with your clients. If you'd like to help me share this valuable information with other personal trainers, give me a thumbs up below. If you're looking for a great program to improve your ability to train your clients without pain and injury, look no further than our Essential Crash Course for personal trainers and how to deal with injuries and pain conditions. It covers assessment of your clients in terms of mechanics, what goes wrong with certain conditions and pain conditions, how to modify exercises to prevent those, and how to actually program and design a workout so it's pain-free and healthy and safe for your client. That's available at the posturesauce.com website. I hope this video on training your clients with mechanical corrections using RPE programming helps you prevent injuries with your training.